Right, how do you, I don't know how to start this. I guess I just did, didn't I? There you go. Hello. Today, I'm going to be going through some of my Blu-rays. I've been collecting Blu-rays. Like I started it like an intentional collection. No, I've bought some films that I like. That's it. It's not, I didn't mean for it to become a fucking YouTube video. I've been buying Blu-rays for about 10 years now. Not consistently. I've gone literally years without buying a single one before. I've just, over time, it has amassed. As you can see behind me, the two shelves there. I'm not going to be going through my complete collection today. There's no point in me sitting here wasting your time going, The Godfather's really good. Empire Strikes Back. Like, I own Blu-rays. Of course I own those films. There's no point going through them. I know there's going to be people out there going, oh, why don't you have any Powell and Pressburger films? Why? Because you've got them all, mate. That's why I can't. They're all sold out. And fair play to you. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you're into. It's an ongoing collection. I'm sure I'll get to them at some point. But, you know, this is just what I like. So fair play to you. Anyway, no, I've just casually skimmed through my collection and just picked out not even necessarily my favourite films of all time. I mean, some of my favourite films are in here, but others are just, you know, they're interesting films. I have a high respect for them. They've got cool box art or they have like cool special features or something like that. I've picked out stuff that I think is worth your time. You'll have seen some of them. Maybe you won't have seen others. So who knows? I'm wearing a beanie because my hair's greasy because I really wanted to play the part today. Sorry to anyone who does this legitimately. I have no doubt that I'm going to natter on for a while. I'm not expecting anyone to watch this with great sort of intensity. This is going to be an off-the-cuff conversation. No fancy graphics or visuals. I'm recording this on my computer. If anything, just open another tab, have this playing in the background, and if you hear the name of a film that you like, come back because I'm going to be talking about it. So here we go. Right, I'm going to start with a box set, one that will contain at least one film that everyone will have seen. It's the Stanley Kubrick Visionary Filmmaker Collection, a classic box set. Everyone loves these films. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. It's really good. Obviously, it's probably my most watched set of Blu-rays. It doesn't have Dr. Strangelove on it, which is, I think, a huge flaw, or The Killing. I do have The Killing separately. I haven't watched it yet. But to its credit, it does have a 2.5-hour documentary called Stanley Kubrick, A Life in Pictures, featuring loads of interviews with actors and filmmakers, and it just kind of chronicles the life of Stanley Kubrick and his career. It's very interesting. It's really good. Actually, to tell you the truth, I think it's on YouTube. I don't even think it's a rip. I think Warner Bros. Have literally just uploaded it during COVID or something. You don't even need to buy this to watch it. That would be the notable takeaway from this. That's probably worth your time. It's narrated by Tom Cruise and everything. So, you know, if anyone cares, my favourite Kubrick film is probably A Clockwork Orange. I used to say 2001. I think maybe Clockwork Orange just takes the lead, only because some of the shots in 2001 do just go on a little bit too long, but it is still a masterpiece. I don't know where to put these when I'm done with them. I didn't plan this very much. Let's just make a pile there. No, that's going to get really cringe. Speaking of Tom Cruise, we've got the Mission Impossible 6-movie collection, soon to be out of date, of course. It does contain 60 minutes of unseen special features. I've not watched them. I've only watched the films. I think that MI Fallout is maybe my favourite action film of all time, possibly the greatest action film ever made. I think that every single one is better than the last one. I cannot wait for MI Dead Reckoning. Part one. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I'm happy that they're continuing to make them. I think they're an absolute blast. But yes, this is soon to be outdated. This was a Christmas present from about 2 or 3 years ago. Let's go a little bit more rogue now, and by a little bit more, I mean quite a bit. This is Jacques Tati Essential. Now, I don't know why it's called the Essential, because it's the entire Jacques Tati collection, but it contains 7 short films as well. If you don't know Jacques Tati, I'm sure some of you do. He's a French filmmaker, and he plays a character called Monsieur Hulot in pretty much every film he made. Monsieur Hulot is essentially the original Mr. Bean, basically. This is the character that Mr. Bean was based off, absolutely. If you watch his films, and then you go and watch films like Mr. Bean's Holiday, the influence is so apparent. Jacques Tati made films from the late 40s all the way to the early 70s. He only made 6 films in that time, I think. I don't know, but I think he had trouble getting films off the ground, basically. If you've never seen any of his films, they're very, very funny. They are, like, extraordinarily funny. I think a good introduction, and the one that everyone seems to like the most, or the one that people have seen the most, is probably Monsieur Hulot's Holiday from 1953, I think. It says 1953 on here. There's also a restored version from 1978. I think they have universal appeal because there's, you know, they're French films, but there's not much dialogue in them. They're very much just kind of physical comedy films. And if you like Monsieur Hulot's Holiday and you want to watch more of Jacques Tati, I would actually say go for Traffic. It's quite a kind of ahead of its time film. It's very funny and it's extremely modern for the time that it was made in. Definitely recommend that one. If for nothing else, because no one seems to have ever seen it. So you can just talk about it and go, oh yes, I've seen a film no one's seen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a good one. And if you like Traffic, I would probably say go back to Playtime. Playtime is a lot more out there. It's visually, it's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous film. It's very funny. It's very surrealist. And it's kind of... It's a bit postmodern, but it's a really good vibe. And at the end of the day, like, all of these films are very, very funny. So Jacques Tati, complete collection. Honestly, just watch all of them. They're great, but don't watch his last film, Parade. Parade is fucking terrible. Parade is an offence to his entire filmography and such a sour note to end on. Honestly, like, and I didn't realise this, you know, when I watched Jacques Tati, I just watched them all in order. I think I saw Monsieur Hulot a couple of times when I was about 9 or 10, and I really liked it, so I bought these, and then I bought these in COVID, and then I watched them all through, and I got to Parade, and it was like, Parade just kind of just ruined the whole experience of watching them. Not really, though, because they were still great films, but like, Parade is such a bum note to end on. Do not watch Parade, even if you watch all of them before and think, oh no, I want more Jacques Tati. Don't do it to yourself. Parade is one of the worst films I've ever seen, but Playtime, Traffic, Monsieur Hulot's Holiday are my favourites, but even Jeu de Fête and Mon Oncle are still absolutely class. So Jacques Tati. Here we've got a 3-film collection by the master himself, Alfred Hitchcock. Now, I do have the, you can probably see it on my shelf there, I do have the proper Hitchcock collection, but I thought, like, it's Hitchcock, like, you know, I'm not going to go through all of them. They're great films, they're classic cinema. For me, I think he really, Hitchcock really holds up. The reason why I picked this this particular box set out is because the 3 films it comes with are Strangers on a Train, Dial M for Murder, and North by Northwest, which all, coincidentally, probably are my 3 favourite Hitchcock films. So I love that they're just in a little collection like this. I think they're all absolutely superb. There's not much I can really say about that. I just like that the coincidence was there. Yeah, he's done so many other great ones. All right, I think we should mix it up a bit. I'm going to go for some television. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that for later. And then I'm going to go to... This is Columbus by KOGONADA. Really great film. One of my favourite films of the last 10 years. It's a great coming of age, good vibe, aesthetically pleasing, kind of lost soul film for young people. If you're into modern film, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. If you feel a bit lost in the world, as we all do at the moment, it's absolutely class. Great dialogue, you know, really interesting, and it's just a vibe. Do you know what I mean? It's just a vibe. Now, I took this with me when I went away to go and visit my friend Kitty, because I thought, oh no, she'll really like this film. And then I got there and she didn't have anything to play Blu-rays on, so we spent ages trying to find a bloody streaming site or like a version of Netflix that had it, and it took us ages. I think eventually we found it on, I don't even know, Polish Netflix or something like that, because like that, you know, that was what we had to do. So oh well. And then the next time I went to watch it at home, I opened it up, and not only does it have, of course, the Blu-ray disc, but it also has a DVD disc, which I am never, ever going to use. And the one time that I actually would have used it, didn't even realise I had it. I was livid. Not only that, on that same trip, my shampoo leaked in my bag, and you can see can you see that? Look at that. Look at that wear and tear. My shampoo leaked all in my bag. You know, as Ross said in Friends,
why do bad things happen to good people?
It's fucked up the cover, but, you know, there we are. It's still a great film. The discs work. Doesn't detract from the experience of the film. It's really, really good. Kogonada. What was it called? What did Kogonada do? Kogonada did that film... with Colin Farrell recently, After Yang. I thought that was really good as well. I thought that was very interesting. I genuinely think that in 10 years' time, Kogonada's going to be like one of my favourite filmmakers. To be honest, he's already up there. Yeah, like, genuinely. I don't know. I think I'm just always impressed by people who really make an impact with such few films. That always impresses me. Okay, and we're going to go on another rant again. So I've got Apocalypse Now, one of my favourite films, and the Apocalypse Now Redux, which I've never seen. I don't feel the need to. I think the original theatrical release of Apocalypse Now is perfect. I don't feel the need to watch a longer version of it. Maybe one day, you know what I mean? But I also have Hearts of Darkness, a filmmaker's Apocalypse, the making of film about Apocalypse Now, which some people think is just as good as Apocalypse Now. Some people think it's even better. So I've got them separately. But since buying the two of these, I've since discovered there is a box set that has the original, the Redux, and this all in one box. And it's cheaper than what I paid for both of these collectively. I'm fuming. I'm fucking fuming about that. But, you know, regardless, great films. Great films. But I'll never get over that as long as I live. Well, I might do. I don't know. Okay, right, we're going to switch it up. We're going to go to television. This is the only television box set that I've picked out today, mainly because I don't really buy TV shows on Blu-ray, because they're always just on some streaming site, aren't they? But it will come as no surprise to anyone. Here we go. The Wire, the complete series. What a show. I first watched this when I was 16 and I thought it was stunning then. I am long overdue a rewatch, absolutely. I've not even watched all the discs on here. I mean, I've seen the whole show elsewhere, obviously, but like, I've not even watched all the discs. Lance Reddick died recently. I love his performance as Cedric Daniels in the show. It's such a gorgeous box. Look at that. Look at the way it just slides. All 5 seasons of absolute class television. It is potentially and probably the most faithful, accurate, and respectful telling of any non-fiction subject ever put on screen. I think that is an absolute feat of just true, just like, I don't even know how to sum that up. That is absolutely astonishing. It's not my favourite television show of all time. That honour still goes to Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, as you might expect, but there is no doubt at all that it is one of the greatest television shows ever made, and of course you should watch it. I need to just, you know, start on disc 1 and go all the way to the end. I need to see Lance Reddick playing Cedric Daniels again. There we are. Okay, right, let's go a little bit more rogue this time. This is Vittorio De Sica's Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow. Am I even allowed to show that? I don't even know. Am I? This is Vittorio De Sica's Yesterday, Today and Tomorrow. Vittorio De Sica, most famously well-known... Is that a tautology? I don't know. Most famously well-known? Who knows? Most noted for his contributions to Italian neo-realism with Bicycle Thieves, which is a masterpiece, and Umberto D, which I think is just equally as good, but just 100% more fucking sad. It's so sad. I don't think I could ever watch it again, but it's brilliant. This is later on in his career. This is an anthological film. It features 3 stories, all starring Mistrella. How do you say it? I never know how to say it. They all star Marcello Mastroianni and Sophia Loren in completely different roles each time, and a very different vibe to his more well-known films. The first one is very funny, but at the same time, it kind of has more of that. I'm going to put that down because you're not listening to me. You're just looking at the hot woman on the cover, aren't you? The first story in the film is maybe... it's very funny, but it's more close to what you might expect from De Sica in terms of like comments on Italian politics of that era. That's kind of the most it kind of resembles, you know, what you might come to expect. The middle story, I don't know, it kind of fell a bit flat for me. The acting of the two leads is exceptional. They are some of the greatest actors of their generation. Obviously, that will always carry it, but I don't know, it kind of just fell a bit flat for me. And then the third one is just literally the horniest shit you've ever seen. So you've already stopped watching this to go and watch it. So there we are. This was a birthday present from last year from my friend Lily. So thank you, Lily. God bless you. I've got to get you back this year. I've got to top this. How am I going to top this? I don't know what to get you. I'll have a think. We're going to go for a Criterion collection now. Oh, the big leagues now. Oh. This is not just a Criterion box set to me. This is my pride and joy. It is the Before trilogy by Richard Linklater. My favourite film trilogy of all time. Stop it. I'm doing a Blu-ray haul. Don't talk to me. I apologise for that. Obviously didn't know I was talking about the Before trilogy, whoever that was. Yes, no, my favourite trilogy of all time. It tops Toy Story for me because of the fact that Toy Story now has a fourth film. I like that fourth film. I really, really do. I'd watch it just as much as as the other three, but it is by definition no longer a trilogy. Therefore, this takes the top spot. Yeah, I love every single one. If they'd only have ever made the first one, it would have still been a really, really classic film. The expansion of what happens in the second one and the third one, it's just turned it into a whole other thing. And wow, I mean, even the time frame of which they were made. I mean, I don't really want to you probably know what these are, so I'm not going to just go and explain the plot. But I love them all. They're so connected, but so completely different at the same time. Some of the nice features in this Criterion box set, which I paid a lot of money for, and I'm not going to share how much, but I love these films. It's got this nice little thing. Look at that. The most palpable chemistry ever put on film between Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy as Jessie and Celine. And it's just got nice... How am I going to do this? Nice photos. Look at that. God damn. God damn. Look at that. First film, second film. I love them all equally, but my favourite of the three is Before Sunset. It's not just my favourite of the three, it's my favourite film of all time. I think it is wonderful. These films came to me at such the right moment. It was insane. Some people think that the third one isn't as good as the first two, but I don't think that's because it's less good. I think it's just that some of the creative choices people don't really agree with because of how they perceive their image of the series, and I think that's fair enough. I love it just as much. It got me swept up just as much as the first two. I do respect where the franchise where the series ends up. I do think that was the right conclusion in some sense, but I get why people are a bit like, oh, I wish they hadn't taken it there. But I don't like where the third one goes, but I certainly respect the kind of individuality of it. I watch them every single year, so it doesn't matter that I paid as much money as I did for this. Greatest trilogy of all time, not much more to say. But we might as well just talk quickly about Criterion. I don't have a lot of Criterions because I have no money. Despite all the Blu-rays I own. Well, that's why I've got no money, because I bought these fucking Blu-rays. Yeah, so I don't have a Criterion collection. Honestly, I don't want to say I don't have an interest in making one, just in case they invite me to go into the Criterion closet, which is my number one dream of all time. I would not be civilized in there. I would raid an entire shelf. Like, you see that behind, imagine that would be empty, all of those. I've got two more Criterions, not because they are Criterion, just because they're good films. So I've got Punch Drunk Love, PTA, that was the first one I bought. Not gonna lie, I just bought it and I didn't even know it was Criterion at the time. It was only because I bought that years ago. And then this, which I haven't even opened yet, I bought this in HMV in Leeds. It's Dreams by Akira Kurosawa. I hear that Martin Scorsese plays Vincent van Gogh in it, and I think that Scorsese read the novel of Silence on the set of Dreams. Or we might need to fact check that he read the Book of Silence and then obviously made the film of Silence like God knows how long later. But I don't want to talk much about those films, mainly because I've not seen one, and the other is just a film that everybody already loves. This is my Criterion collection. That's the whole thing right there, and I'm proud of it. I'm fucking proud of it. Next up, Inception. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk about how amazing Inception is. I just wanted to say I got this for £2 in a charity shop. That is a fucking steal. A fucking steal that can't go unnoticed. I had to bring that up. Anyway, Inception. Glorious. Next up, we've got the Charlie Chaplin collection, which is, what's that? Curzon. Real cinema. Curzon films. I think this is every film he's done. I think this is it. This box set, I think, contains the oldest film I've ever seen. The Kid from 1921, or like the oldest feature film. I mean, unless you count Trip to the Moon. Like, that's not a feature film. That's a short film. I respect it. It's good, but it's 15 minutes long. That's not a feature film. Yeah, The Kid from 1921 is the oldest feature film I've ever seen. That's a good one. In terms of my favourite Chaplin, Modern Times is definitely up there. I'm a bit of a sucker for slapstick comedy. Like, it always makes me laugh, both in the old days and the modern days. Like, Kramer's my favourite character on Seinfeld and stuff like that. There's slapstick comedy in this collection that I've picked out. You've got Jacques Tati, got this. I think there's another one coming up in a minute, I think. My favourite Chaplin film is probably, well, actually, definitely, is The Great Dictator, which is ironic because Charlie Chaplin is so notoriously known for being a paedophile. I mean, a silent film act. No, don't put this in. Don't keep that in. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Okay, let's make sure that this is a little bit into the video so that, you know, no one's going to find this bit easily. Yeah, I think The Great Dictator is a really, really strong film. I think it's really profound. Like, made in 1940, after the outbreak of the Second World War, to do a film like that and to pull it off in the way that he did is really, it's an absolute triumph, which is really ironic because of the fact that Chaplin was so against talkie films, as they used to call them. He didn't think it was going to last, as far as I know, but obviously he had to resort to a dialogue film in order to, because there was no way he was going to convey everything he wanted to with this film if he didn't. And obviously at the end it gives us one of the greatest and most iconic speeches in cinema. So yeah, I think The Great Dictator, and it's still a really funny film as well at the same time. It's using comedy for a purpose, and that's always good. So yeah, Chaplin. I think it's time to get a little bit more controversial. Got a little bit of Woody Allen. I'm not here to endorse anyone's character. We're just here to talk about good films, okay? Like, you know, whatever your opinion, fair enough. Let's just talk about some good movies. So, sticking with the kind of comedy vibe, Love and Death from 1975? 75? Probably. Yes, 75. Really, really funny film. Slapstick humour. Really, really witty. One of the greatest comedy films of the 20th century, certainly. I've watched this loads. I show this to my mates who haven't seen it. It's very, very funny. You know, it's based off... you know, like Chekhov and Russian literature and shit. No, I'm doing it a disservice in the plot. This is set in Russia during the Napoleonic Wars. Obviously a prime place for a comedy, right? I love it. I watch it every year. It's endlessly funny. It's really, really good. I've probably watched it one too many times now. I think the last time I watched it, I was like, okay, I've got about 150 laughs out of this already. So, but like, nonetheless, if you've never seen it before, this is endlessly funny. And then you pick stuff up the next time you watch it, or like you forget stuff, and then it's like seeing certain moments for the first time again. So yeah, absolutely. There's not much more I can really say about that. Glad to have that one. We'll just continue with the Woody Allens for a little bit more. I'm going to say that. I'm going to do that one in a minute. I've got Hannah and Her Sisters, probably one of Woody Allen's most popular films. It is a very funny film, but it is a beautiful blend of drama as well. It's about three sisters living in New York, and we see their lives and their struggles with relationships, marriage, identity, the prospect of what one wants to do in the future. It's about conflict. It's about everything. It's really, really good. I don't like using rating systems, even though I do have Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd. It's in the description. Well, it is now, certainly. I'd probably give this 4 stars out of 5. But there is one scene, and when you watch the film, you will know what scene I'm talking about. There is one scene that features just these 3 actors, Mia Farrow, Barbara Hershey, and Diane Wiest, in a cafe or a restaurant, I think it is. All I'm going to say is that scene is like the culmination of everything the film has been building up to. It leads to that point. And not only in terms of the story is that true, but it is also a masterclass in acting, directing, writing, and cinematography. It all comes together in that moment, and it is a superb moment. And I think actually, like, watching the film and getting the context, like, if you watch the scene on its own on YouTube, it's not going to work. You have to see the whole film. That scene is superb. I really, really like this film. I've watched it a few times. And again, yeah, as I said, it's also quite funny. Okay, we're going to get off the Woody train in a little bit, as have so many people in the last 5 years or however long it's been. This one, now I've picked this one out specifically because it is very unknown in terms of Woody Allen's filmography, or very kind of underrated. This is the first film that Woody made after Annie Hall. Annie Hall being obviously the considered magnum opus, basically. Interiors, which again is about three sisters who find their family situation suddenly becomes a little bit fucked up, basically, or a bit like, I don't know, morally questionable, I suppose. This is Woody Allen's attempt at doing a pure drama, and it was his first attempt at doing a pure drama. And actually, I think this is the only time that he actually manages to pull it off in terms of a pure drama. I don't want to say much else. I've only seen it once. I knew nothing about it going in. It is basically Woody trying to be Ingmar Bergman. This is a complete homage to Swedish cinema from the 50s and 60s. It's really, really interesting. They're interesting characters. Maybe for some people it's going to be a little bit pretentious, but I think there's something to it. I don't want to say much more. I think it's a good gem, and it's really, really well shot. I think this is Gordon Willis, who actually worked with Woody Allen quite a lot. Gordon Willis, the cinematographer, who also did the cinematography for The Godfather and The Godfather 2, and possibly The Godfather 3, but I'll have to look that up. I don't know if that's true. One of the finest American cinematographers of all time. And also, of those three films, if you hate Woody Allen, he's not in this. So if you fucking despise him with all your guts, and fair play to you, fast forward through the first 30 seconds where his name comes up, and then all you've got is a really, really solid, underappreciated film from the 70s. Diane Keaton is one of my favourite actresses, so give that a watch. Right, we're getting there. We're nearly there. This is a present that I got. This is maybe the first Pedro Almodovar film. Is it Almodovar? I'm so bad with names. Yes, it is. It is Almodovar. Pedro Almodovar, this is, I think, the first film of his I ever saw. It's a very witty, snappy, in and out. Was it 85 minutes? 89 minutes. Yeah. Very, very funny, ridiculous, absurd. A Spanish film, obviously, Pedro. It's all over the shop. It's good fun. Antonio Banderas is really fit in it. He's really, really fit, if for nothing else. There you go. Antonio Banderas, here you go. Watch it. Good time film. So we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got 4 left, and 3 of them are box sets. Okay, we'll do a box set. This is James Dean, which I just bought at Christmas. I've not even unwrapped it yet. I have seen none of these films. I just thought it was an interesting collection. This is called the Complete James Dean Collection because, of course, oh look, there I am in the reflection. Complete James Dean Collection. I'll get to this eventually. Yeah, that's the thing as well. I do have like quite a lot of Blu-rays that I haven't watched. What's in there? The Searchers, Dreams I haven't watched, but a lot of the Blu-rays that I haven't watched are films I've seen. I just haven't watched the Blu-ray for. Looking forward to watching Rebel Without a Cause, because that is probably the most well-known. East of Eden 2. I don't know anything about Giant. I got this in a deal, so sometimes you just got to take a little punt, don't you? A little, let's give it a go. We've got another Curzon. By the way, like Curzon again, like same with when I started with Criterion. All I want to do is watch these films. I don't know that they're from these like pretentious film companies. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I just want to watch some good films or interesting films. Do you know what I mean? It's like, so here we go. Andrei Tarkovsky collection. I'm slowly making my way through this. And by slowly, I mean, I probably watch about 1 a year because, you know, they're a lot, aren't they? I mean, I know that some people live by Tarkovsky. I'm kind of like, well, I've not seen all of them yet. I respect them. I certainly appreciate why people like them. I think with Tarkovsky, like, whatever your opinion of his films are, you are correct. Whatever you think of them, you are spot on. And you are so entitled to what you believe. And I think that's, I mean, you can say that about anyone, but do you know what I mean? It's like, whatever you think of him is the correct answer. What have I watched on here? I've watched Solaris. That was the first one I saw. I haven't watched the Blu-ray for Solaris. I saw it at the cinema at a film festival. And I don't know, man, it kind of lost me a little bit. I mean, like, we get it. Like, Tarkovsky, you're anti-2001. I know that's not the whole thing. You know, a filmmaker like Andrei would never make a film just to be like, I'm going to spite a pre-existing film that everybody loves. Like, I know there's more to it. It just kind of wasn't my thing. I don't know. Like, it was interesting enough. It looks nice, but it's fucking long, man. But, okay, well, I'll flip that over. The one I did like, Stalker. That, I was in that. I was absolutely like, I've tried to click there and I didn't. Stalker, I really, really dug, which is funny because the people I watched it with didn't really like it. Stalker I don't know why. It was maybe the mood. I just watched it on the right day, I guess. I really, really like Stalker. I'd like to watch it again. I think I'd done a fat bong rip before watching it. No, I can't put, no. I think I had, though. That's the thing. That's probably why I liked it. That's probably why I got it. I was absolutely off my tits. That's why. You have to go in blind for that one. But, like, you know, brace yourself. It's not an easy watch, but it's very rewarding, in my opinion. And then I started watching Mirror. I think I've watched an hour of Mirror and I appreciated it, but I don't know, like, again, it just, like, Stalker I watched at the right time, Mirror I didn't. I think I watched Mirror after work or something. What was I thinking? Why did I do that? I don't know why I did that. Yeah, I'd literally done a day at work and I came back and I was like, I'm gonna watch Andrei Tarkovsky's Mirror. Who was I kidding? I think it was a Monday as well. I literally don't know what I was thinking. Why did I decide to watch that then? I do a commute into central London at 7:30 in the morning. I do a fucking 8-hour day. I come back and for some reason I looked at this box and went, yes, I'm going to watch a Russian film from the 70s. Am I fuck? I turned it off after an hour. I watched some fucking Andrew Schultz. But no, like, I watched an hour of it. I respected some pieces of it. I've got to get back to it again. I'll watch it some other day when I'm not going to work. I'll watch it again from the beginning because there was definitely something to it, but I just watched it under the wrong circumstances. Well, I did pick out the Three Colours trilogy, but that's only because I'm going to give a really controversial opinion and go like blue and white, take or leave, to be honest. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the French. Like, I mean, how can I say that? I like Jacques Tati. Okay, it's another Curzon as well. Oh, no, it's not. Artificial Eye. Isn't that the same thing? It looks like the same thing. I don't know. I can't tell them apart. Blue and white, I could take or leave. Red. Now, red's the good one. Red is the good one. Honestly, I could argue that you could just watch Red without having watched the others. I watched these all in one day, I think. Or I watched them one a day for 3 days, something like that. Yeah, Red's the one I remember. Red's the most interesting. Just go for Red. I know some people love these. Some people swear by them. I'm just about Red. That's all. That's all. And I love the colour blue. Look at that. Look at blue. And, you know, I know that you're allowed to not like white. And I'm not just talking about this film, but like blue people generally like that one. And I'm just like, red, man. Anyway, okay, I'm going to end with... Oh, I don't know if I should end with this, but it is the last one I've got. This is I, Daniel Blake. Some people have heard of this. This is, well, look at that. Look, a masterpiece. Yeah, it is maybe the greatest social realism film ever made, certainly in this country. I absolutely think this film is so profound. I'm sure some of you have already seen it already. The acting in this, I feel like I haven't talked about acting enough in this collection. The acting in this is next level. This is like someone has just turned a camera on people living through a hard time. It is superb. It is such a comment on the fucked up system that is our fucking government. It's marvellous. It's absolutely marvellous. I first watched this when it came out when I was 17. It's never left me since. I mean, I got the fucking Blu-ray for it. Not an easy watch. Not an easy watch by any means, but so grounded in reality. It is just, oh my God, it's beautiful, it's superb. And unfortunately, it's just as fucking relevant today as it was 6 years ago or whenever it came out. I, Daniel Blake, a superb film. And do you know what? We will end on this because it is excellent. And that's all we should do. We should end on an excellent film. So that's it. Oh my God, you can't see the stack. Hang on, let's just put this up here. Look at this stack. I'm going to bring it round. Oh my God. Oh no, you can't even see it. Like, it's so high. Woohoo! There we go. So thank you for watching today. If you stuck around to the end, I really appreciate it. Tell me some of the Blu-rays that you have in your collection or DVD collection. I think DVD collections are equally as valid, and that's not me being patronizing. I'm actually genuinely thinking about getting back into buying more DVDs, because sometimes you just go to charity shops and you just see an absolute steal right there and then. And there's something really wholesome and comfortable about watching something in standard definition, especially if it's like 4:3, and especially if you've got a really nice telly, and then just to put on a disc and it's just like the screen is like that, and it's just a comfort. It can be nostalgic, can't it? So like, yeah, definitely DVD, Blu-ray, doesn't matter, 4K Blu-ray, whatever it is. If you have, you know, films in your collection that you want to talk about in the same way, I would love to hear them. Follow me on Letterboxd, and yeah, thank you for watching. Goodbye.